I would like to call on Dennis's higher self, please.
Yes.
Thank you very much for letting us connect with you once again. Can we start a body scan on his body? And is there anything we need to know?
Yes.
Thank you. What's happening with his body?
At the moment, it's just in relaxation. Today, no hay fever, but that would be the weather. That's the change of weather.
What is the reason he gets the hay fever?
Just the allergy to the different flowers, blossoms, and pollen that's in the air.
Okay. So there's no purpose or lesson there for him?
No, it's just very much an allergy. And being a sensitive picks up on that.
Okay, thank you. So are you able to just give him a fantastic body scan and heal and balance anything in his body that needs to be healed and balanced?
Yes.
Thank you so much. He has some questions. He would like to know about the energy that is flowing in now until the 21st of December this year.
In a previous session, it was mentioned that from around the 6th of December, that the energies would be building, they would be getting greater. There would be more light coming in and also vibrations changing. And that is occurring. It actually started occurring around about the 4th of December. But during these next couple of weeks prior, it will successively build up daily. Some people won't feel any great shift, and others will definitely feel the shifting energies on different days. It just will just depend on the energies will be building all the time. It will just be whether people are aware of it or not. And having said that, some days the energies will feel very, very strong to the point that you may feel aggravated, or just not quite feeling right. You won't be sick. It's just the energies embodying you during that period.
Okay, thank you. And um, why did the energy start increasing? I know you said previously in another session that it's going to be the sixth, but you said now, thank you, that it was the fourth, and I know that Dennis experienced that. So did Benji, the dog. Uh, so can you tell me, was that a significant day? Why did that start occurring then?
It was not necessarily a significant day. It was just that the inflows have been coming in all the time, but as the time was getting closer to the 21st, it needed to be built up more so that when those energies do start flowing around the 20th and 21st, it won't just totally zap people in any particular way. So the build-up's been going on for quite some time, and a lot of people have felt the change of energy. And this was always a time where it was going to have to increase. But because of what your body's accepted earlier on, it can take the increase of energies and frequencies, and it's all to build up for the 21st or 20th.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. I do understand. And so, in terms of the 20th, I do recall another session we did where the niece was going to have an opportunity to awaken on the 20th. Are you able to explain to us more about what would be happening for her to be able to have the opportunity to awaken?
Since that period, Dennis has spoken to her father, and was quite surprised. They're not 100% awake, but they are alert to what's going on, which he was pleased, and a little bit surprised about that. So the energy is increasing in them and other people. So it has actually been able to awaken people to a particular level, and from that level they will grow with awareness.
Fantastic, thank you. So, will there be some sort of event, or will they see anything different on the 20th of December?
I think that will just be the bigger inflow of energy that will come in that day, because of these energies coming in now, and the energies that obviously have helped awaken them earlier. They will be able to easily accept the new energies coming in on that particular day, like on the 20th, and then that will shift their consciousness into a greater awareness of what might be occurring around them.
Okay, thank you. And so, will they notice anything occurring around them before the actual point of shift?
I think depending around the 20th, quite a few people may start seeing different light in the sky. That will be the first thing that they will notice, that things are changing. There will be a definite different look about the sky, and there will be different light in the sky. Again, it will go back to what frequency you're vibrating at. Some will see much more than others. They, on that day, will just be aware that something is different. As to what it is, they probably won't be able to put their finger on it, but just they will be aware that things are looking different.
Thank you. And so, in terms of Dennis, how is he going to notice? What is he going to experience on the 20th of December?
He will notice the difference in the light that's coming in dramatically. He will definitely see that change, and will also notice that there will be other not like rainbows, but similar type of things to rainbows that will just almost appear in the peripheral vision of his eyes. But he'll be aware of it, and be aware, which he's already aware, that they're being out in nature. He's noticing it even now. Much more clarity. You're getting more of a clearer look, but you're also getting a very 3D look, which is funny to say that when you're so close to moving into 5D, but being really aware of that 3D presence of a tree being where it is and another tree behind it, and the difference in between them.
Okay, thank you. That is really interesting.
It's just more awareness. Even in this 3D realm, if your vibration's high enough, you'll actually be witnessing the 3D differently. If that makes sense to you, it's your awareness, which is what came up last time. As we said, people's awarenesses would be growing.
Yes, yeah, fantastic. Thank you. Because he was noticing, higher self, that when he was doing healings, that the energy has changed and has become much stronger and deeper. And most times he's seen a beautiful light blue light in his third eye. And it gets so bright that it feels like it's sunlight. What would you like him to know about that?
It is a change of energy. He's picking up on that when he's doing the healings, and the shift of light in being the blue light is energy light that's coming from the Arcturians. Again, it's a healing light. Moving in towards the sun, that's actually just using or seeing the spiritual sun is what that is. It's just a higher connection. For some years, when he's been doing healings with Reiki, that he's been channeling, and this was years ago, channeling the fifth dimension energy. What's happening now with that energy is that it's obviously higher again than the fifth dimension. So he's just noticing it in the healings now. It's always been there, but it's just that he's just more aware of the spiritual sun part of the healings.
Nice. And can you explain to me what the spiritual sun is?
It's the true sun. It's the divinity. You may be able to use it as creation sun. It's what gives us life, and so by tapping into that energy, it's the strongest of energies that you can bring down in light for healing.
I see. So could it also be called the central sun?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it. Understand that. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Yes. Wonderful. Thank you. And then higher self, he was told by a friend that she saw her. He had a friend, and she saw a psychic friend. That both. But the psychic friend told the friend that Dennis and herself were involved in a secret space program. What do you want to say about that to us today?
His friend is in the secret space program. Dennis isn't in the space program. His main role is within healing and holding light. No, he's not part of the secret space program. His duties are really on Earth, and in particular at this time, to be assisting as best as he can, even though he often thinks that he's not achieving anything whilst others are doing so much. But it's about making sure that the people who need healing are able to get the healing, and that is a really important role. But whilst doing that healing and during the day, it's also holding light. There are many people holding light all around the world, and it is the light workers that are holding light that are keeping the balance of Earth at best that it can be at the moment. If these light workers were not here and were not holding light, it would be nothing like it currently is.
Thank you. Thank you very much for letting us know. So, what went wrong there with the information to be telling and thinking that he was part of this secret space program?
It, psychics sometimes tap into different energies, different timelines. She may have been picking up on past lives, but definitely not in this life. Definitely not in this life. She was right with her friend, Dennis's friend, being one of the space program. But no, that's not his role at this time. Definitely here for healing and light work.
Thank you, Higher Self, for letting us know that. And so, can you tell us what secret space program, what happens there? What do people do there? What really is it?
It's all people that are used normally remotely when they're asleep, and they are doing work for the Federation, the Galaxy Federation of Light. Most of the people go off planet, obviously, and they will be in either an army of sorts or similar type of work to that. Without getting too involved, it's not a war, but there are a lot of dark things that are occurring that a lot of these people are involved in trying to stop. And a lot of these people are from other when I say the people in the space program, I mean they are from another dimension and another planet, and they've just incarnated in this world now, mainly because of the ascension process that's occurring, to make sure that the ascension occurs and it isn't hijacked or stopped.
Fantastic. Thank you. Very interesting, and always good to hear confirmation that we're always protected and supported through this process.
So going by that, yes, there are different people that are probably working within the program that may not even be aware of what they're doing to the program.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. Thank you. Is there anything else more that you want to tell Colin about that? Sorry, Dennis, about that?
Just that, well, probably expanding on that whole space program, then you could then break it down to the people that are holding light, the light workers that are doing it. They're not part of a secret space program. They're here doing a purpose, but it's all connected. What the people who would be in the secret space program are doing. Then you've got the other galactics that are working, and then you've got the Federation of Light, different groups, all assisting in the ascension process, but basically to make sure that it isn't hijacked in any particular way, because the dark forces are trying to keep Earth at the lower vibration. It won't happen, but they're still trying. They're trying and will continue to keep trying to keep it at that lowest vibration.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for letting us know that. Um, we were wondering, Dennis was wondering about how he's starting to get a slight sensation of vertigo when he first starts doing his healings and channeling high vibrations. It feels like he's going through like a warp, like a little bit of a roller coaster. What is happening to him when that's occurring?
Yeah, it's a change of dimensions. When he first started channeling 5D years ago, he found that when he was working on a client, quite often he'd feel like he just would slip. And it was, even though it wasn't going anywhere, it would feel like that you've just slipped into something. And he had actually slipped into the next dimension and was working from the fifth dimension. Now, at that period, he was able to ask his guides to assist in slowing that down so that the sensation wasn't so great. What's occurring now, and there may be quite a few people experiencing vertigo who've never suffered vertigo before, or be experiencing that slip. And what it is just the two dimensions they are so close now that it's a you can easily slip in and out of the two dimensions. So you are based still in the third dimension, but you'll find that every now and then you're slipping into the fifth dimension. And of course, eventually that will be where you reside.
Mm. I get that when I'm walking around the house. Does he get that when he's just doing his normal things, or is this when he does his energy work?
Mainly energy work, but then sometimes just walking out in the park or whatever will just feel a slip, and it's like you're off balance, and you are off balance because you're in between the two planes of dimensions.
Mm. Yeah. Okay. So obviously nothing to worry about. It's completely normal, right?
There's nothing to worry about. It's just purely, if you could imagine, like that there's these two dimensions virtually sitting side by side, and it's like you're slipping into one, like one foot's just moving and it's gone straight into the fifth, so you feel like you're going to fall, which is the vertigo feeling. But you're not you obviously don't fall, you're not falling, you're just moving into that dimension. But there's nothing to be fearful of. But you will probably find in the next 2 weeks, and he will for sure experience that more and more.
Okay, thank you. And so to explain to us the best you can, higher self, that while the dimensions are right beside each other, as we're starting to accelerate and raise our vibration, to actually travel to the new Earth, which is in the 5D, it's actually quite some distance away where we have to travel.
As in, you mean like a mileage distance?
Yes, if you were having to measure the distance between this current planet and the planet New Earth is, that there is, well, because I think people are still confused about the shift between 5D, from 3D to 5D, and then the other shift to actually New Earth, which is the fifth dimension planet. But so this current planet is trying to climatize itself to the fifth dimension to get us prepared. Is that correct?
Well, looking at it from this point, the 3D, 5D dimensions, and talking about the slip, there is no real great distance involved. You could physically just walk through to the fifth dimension.
Yes, but when people are saying that the shift is just simply shifting to that dimension, which is where we're starting to feel our bodies kind of go to, that's not what's just happening. It's shifting to a higher dimension and moving to a different planet.
New Earth.
Yes.
Again, there is no time, and there is no distance. The actual move will occur. People, you will not be aware of any time. You'll be leaving time behind.
Yes, I understand. So for the people who are on the old Earth, what amount of time would have passed for them? And I know there's no such thing as time, but let's just indulge the human experience of time.
2 years.
To
2
arrive,
years.
to arrive on New Earth, or for the Earth to disintegrate?
It'll be 2 years that it will seem like if the people on old, for the people that are going to the new Earth, there will be no time. But to the people, if you were still using the construction of old Earth, it would be 2 years.
To arrive to New Earth.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah.
But you will not be aware of the 2 years.
Correct. Yeah, I've heard that before. So thank you. I'm just trying to ascertain. I have heard that it can be earlier sense of sort of like 3 to 4 months. Is that correct for still some people, or
The shift, like the amount of time between moving from the old Earth to the new Earth?
yes,
That they will experience 3 to 4 months.
yes.
I don't see that.
Okay. And so um so
Why would they experience 3 to 4 months when they're leaving a time dimension?
well, it was, again, they wouldn't be experiencing 3 to 4 months on the ship. It was more like, again, for the when you're counting time on old Earth, how long would it take for the people to arrive to New Earth, for the people on old Earth? We're trying to still measure stuff with time. I know that's
Okay.
annoying.
Okay.
So is it consistent with everyone that it takes 2 years to arrive to New Earth, even though no one's aware of the time travel?
Yes.
Okay.
But you have to let go of the 2 years, because it isn't 2 years.
Of course, I understand. And so for the people on the planet, on the old Earth, what does 2 years after the shift look like for them?
If they once the soul of Gaia has left, old Earth will undergo massive changing, because there will be it will become like a clone planet. There'll be nothing in it. There'll be no soul attached to it. It'll only be people that will be wanting to experience the end of old Earth, and the darkness that will still be not in control, but it'll still be around. It will believe that it's actually somehow won what it was chasing. Doesn't make sense, but that in their world, it will seem that way.
Yes. Is it because they wanted to have a depopulation of the planet?
Yes.
And so for the people left on the old Earth, how will that depopulation have occurred? What will they believe has occurred?
With a lot of people, because there will be lots of light in the sky on the 21st in particular, they will believe that's we've been attacked by aliens or whatever they construct in their mind, that something's happened and all these people have died from that, or whatever that they come to, whatever conclusion they do. They'll be so far in fear that they'll be just manifesting whatever belief they want.
Fantastic. Okay, yeah, I understand that. Thank you. Can I ask, when Dennis was tapping into the energy of 5D a few years ago, was that energy different from what it is now? Or is he perceiving that energy different now?
Bit of both. It's yes, he's perceiving it differently, but yes, it's also a much stronger energy. If he had been channeling the energy, well, two things occur. He wasn't, body-wise, he wasn't strong enough to channel that energy 10 years ago. There was no way he could have handled that kind of the energy of today 10 years ago. So it's gradually been building. But what's been occurring for most people in this last 6 months is a really big energy build-up. So part of it, yes, is perception, but also it's a much stronger energy that's now flowing in.
Thank you. Thank you for letting us know that. And he's wondering, do we need to protect our higher vibrations at this time heading towards 2112? Meaning, does it lower our vibration communicating with those who are buying into the current 19 agenda? Is that the
Yes,
virus?
yes, you need to look after your vibration. You've been, most people that are awake and aware have been working on raising their vibration and keeping their frequency high. Of course, when you do interact with people of a lower vibration, it's very easy to get drawn into that vibration, and that's through them virtually arguing with you, because they believe what they've been told is the truth, and they will go down fighting, believing that that's the truth. Now, when you do get into those discussions, or should they end up in an argument, your vibration's just scattered. You've lowered it right down. But having said that, most people, when they walk away from that, if they cut their cords and that from those people and that energy, their vibration should easily raise straight back up again, and just purely being out in nature will bring that back up again.
Fantastic. He was noticing that there was a more advanced like feeling when he was doing remote healing versus if he was doing healing in person. What can you tell us about that?
Again, it's an energy shift. Because of what I mean, people have been locked down, all of that. So most people have had to adapt to what situations have been occurring. Now, of course, there could be no hands-on healings during the greater period of this year. So most of it's all been distant healing. Most healers that have been doing that should have noticed that there's been a very big increase in their energies that are flowing out to people who are needing the healing, and that's all, of course, being assisted by the light that's coming in, and it's just to also underline just how far we have progressed, that it really is the energy healing and all that is still mind healing. You don't need your hands to be touching somebody. You don't need to physically be there. You are actually healing by mind and intention. It's always been intention and mind.
Yes. Thank you. I love that. Thank you so much. We were talking earlier about the vaccine, where they were thinking that they're going to mandate it. What do you want us to know about that? What does the future look like?
I don't see it occurring at all. If it was to occur, it will only really occur to the people who have no desire to leave this old earth.
Interesting.
Because it will make no difference to them whether they have this or they don't have it. Their future's mapped.
So would you say to know a classic example of someone who is going to and wants to stay on the old earth is someone who is lining up to get that?
There will be people. And they could even be the people who, what is the word for it? The backdrop people.
Oh yes, will the backdrop people be signing up to have this?
Yes, well, it doesn't matter if they have it or don't. They'll be quite willing to be in the background.
Oh, there you go. Is that one of the main purposes for being here, subconscious or higher self, is to be the test guinea pigs for that?
The other thing with the healing too is the strength of the distant healing has increased because your awareness and your mind has increased. Given this period from March, it was always available for people to utilize it spiritually, and a lot of people have, a lot of people haven't, but those that have would certainly notice that their abilities have changed in the last 7 to 8 months. And so what we're saying is that with the distant healing, people have become more powerful in their spiritual self. So therefore they are able to control their manifestations of healing and channel much clearer than they would have, say, a year or two ago, if that makes sense.
Perfect sense to me. Thank you. And so, what do you want us to know? What can you tell us about the channelers who are still not getting the information that New Earth is not this current planet?
They don't want to seem like they're out of step with the masses. As you would be aware, there are far less that believe in the new Earth versus just a 5D Earth overlay. And the new Earth as a separate planet, a lot of people aren't ready for that information as yet. They will get there, but not today. And these other channelers are just making sure that the followers and all that they have on their channels continue to keep them in adulation. Is about all we can say is that it's more about they've manufactured a persona for themselves. They've created some celebrity about it.
Yes, but it's interesting that they're creating their, I don't know what to even call it, their influencers platform, bragging that they're getting the biggest information, but yet it's clearly not the truth, because
they're all coming from an ego, still coming from an ego base.
Because it is confusing to people who are listening to these sessions still. Why is big name people not saying this information?
In a lot of ways, they are still doing a service. And we mentioned this once before, the people needed to go, yes, you can listen outside to these influences, but you need to continue doing your inner work. And so you need to discern, and this whole period teaches you to be learning to discern the truth and to be aware. So they're the two key elements you need: awareness and discernment. So that when you listen to one of these channelers, don't just take it on board that what they've said is fact. Take it inside and then see if it sits in there. If it sits in there okay, then maybe that's the level that's okay for you at this particular moment. But if it doesn't, if there's something about it that you just think, no, that's not quite right, then let it go, because you're working then on listening to more of your truth. If you understand what I'm saying. So they are doing a disservice, yes, but they're also doing an indirect service.
Yeah. To make you sort of pay attention a little bit more when something feels a bit uneasy. Like, why does that not feel so
Yes,
genuine anymore?
and people who've been working on, particularly in this last 8 or 9 months, on their spiritual selves, will know exactly what we're saying here, that you should be able to easily listen to that, and pretty much within the first couple of minutes, if it doesn't resonate with you, then let it go. It's not for you.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much. Good information. So we're just wanting to confirm, is the timeline still consistent? Are we still going, is Dennis still going to experience the shift on the 21st?
Yes. As we said before, it won't necessarily be a time, because he initially thought it was 9:04 or something like that, but it's not a matter of time. It's a matter of vibration and frequency. So when those frequency, vibration, and the light, when everything matches, then that it happens.
Perfect. And that's, will we ever truly be able to understand the level of vibration one needs to have to be able to make the shift?
Will we understand the vibration?
Will we be able to, I guess we won't be able to, there's no indicator on our bodies or anything to see who's ready to vibrate, to shift or not.
There will be activations by the planetary lineup, and also by the light that's coming in. So not everyone will be vibrating exactly or in the right frequency at, say, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. But there could be, like thousands at 1 o'clock, but they mightn't be your next door neighbor or anybody like that. And then there could be other people that it'll be 5 in the afternoon. But again, you're moving into a non-time zone, so it doesn't matter, because you're leaving the time of old Earth.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. And just getting back to the backdrop people, what kind of percentage of the population are backdrop people?
Going through this period, it seems like there's a lot more than you would think. They're so willing to dutifully do everything that they're told to do. And of course, they are playing their part in that part of consciousness, because they're the ones willingly wearing the mask, willingly doing everything that their government demands of them. And of course, then the government are able to use them virtually to weaponize other people for being selfish, for not wearing masks or not doing this. Of course, there are other people that aren't backdrop people that are quite happy to still go along with the agenda. But I think you get what we're saying.
Yes.
There that it's almost like, well, the government's using it as a weapon. Is the best way that we can put it.
Yes, so true. Good point. And it sort of seems like then peer pressure is then pushed.
Yes, because it's like, so there's like 2,000 people over there and they're doing what they're told. Why won't you conform?
Because we're not back.
You're the yeah, exactly. And of course, because you've got the backdrop people doing that willingly, then you get the other people that are buying into the whole fear campaign, and then they feel like, well, we're right doing this because all these other people are doing it. So therefore, they're on the right team, and then it's all these other selfish people that are thinking for themselves. Just not wanting to be part of it. It's very interesting how it's being played out. But yes, it's the dark agenda at work yet again.
Fascinating. Thank you so much. And Dennis was wondering why sometimes when he's meditating, the image of Trump pops into his mindset.
It's because of the energy, which he's aware of. He's aware of that. Donald Trump has got massive energy about him. And there's been posts about him being a light worker and that. And yes, he is, but he's at an extreme level of light. He just has a huge presence that's just there. It's very hard to describe. There would be probably quite a few people that would be witnessing the same situation, maybe not even in meditation or healing, but they might just instantly get an image of Donald Trump come into their mind. And it's just showing you how much light and how much strength is in that particular, well, we'll say person, but he's sort of beyond a person. That's there. And again, having said that, it will most likely only be people well and truly working off the light that would be getting this image like that in this way.
Thank you. So interesting. And we were also discussing previously, Dennis listens to some person called Usava, and they were saying that there was going to be a broadcast of some sort happening in the first 2 weeks of December. What would you like us to know about that?
Yes. She is a good channel. She's very clear with what she says. Very gifted with her information, and she is pretty much on the ball. There possibly will be a broadcast within the next week.
What's the percentage of that occurring?
A percentage?
Yes.
Probably, I would say at 80% chance.
Okay. And can you tell me how that broadcast is going to be presented? And
it will be streamed on various channels, possibly also through in America, it'll be through the emergency broadcast system. As to other countries, possibly a similar situation, but if not, it'll be streamed through the internet.
And what can we know about this event? What information will be shared?
It will be what some of the crimes against humanity have been, but it won't be full on, because it will need to be sort of slowly fed out to people. So it won't be like a 3-day event or anything like that. It will just be a broadcast that will just announce what has been going on in the background that most people are very unaware of.
And so what has been happening in the background? What is going to be stated in this broadcast?
It will be stated about the situations with child trafficking, also with the drugs wars that have been created, the corruption with the election, who was behind the corruption. There's many things that will come out, but not all of that will be in that broadcast. But of course, if it wakes some people up, they will be able to find out other information themselves, which is actually a good way of finding out information also, rather than it just being told to you.
Uh-huh. And who's going to be telling us this?
It'll be a general.
Oh, okay. And
It'll be military.
uh-huh. Okay. And how will people respond to hearing that information?
People who have been aware will indirectly be finally rejoicing that it's come to this. Not so much as to "I told you so" to other people, because that doesn't serve any kind of purpose. Other people will wake up. Some people will not be overly surprised. They'll accept it a bit better than they probably thought, and there will be other people that will be in absolute shock, almost denial, that they were living in this world.
Yes, indeed. And so, do you get a sense of how long this broadcast would be happening?
Probably not much longer than maybe an hour and a half, and it will be most likely looped so that people could see it at various times.
Oh, I see. And what else would be happening around the world when this is occurring?
Well, it'll be definitely in America, and it will be in other countries. As I say, it will be most likely streamed, but it could also end up on broadcast television.
Okay, thank you. And if it's an emergency broadcast in America, would that mean there are other things that are also happening?
It'll all be coordinated.
Okay. And is there any other information that you want to tell us about that?
No, not at this moment.
Okay, thank you. And we trust that it will be well received to the people who have been waiting so patiently for that.
Yes. You have to be wary of timelines.
Of course. And so in terms of right now, you said an 80% chance it's happening?
Yes.
Okay. And what sort of things would we see and know that timeline shift and we will not be seeing the broadcast?
The shift would be if if, for instance, civil war broke out. Because that will shift the timeline.
Mm-hmm. Would that make it earlier or not occur at all?
Most likely, because it would only then feed into the frenzy that would be going on.
Yes, I see. So then, if the civil war is announced or occurs, then the broadcast does not need to occur.
No, because it needs to be, things will need to be settled down rather than expanded.
Sure. Yes, I get that. Okay. I love that. Well, I don't love that, sorry, but I love knowing that for the people who have been so patiently waiting for information like this to come out publicly, I'm glad for them that it will be finally out for them to feel not so conspiracy theory-ish.
Yes.
Yes.
But again, not to hang on to anything.
Of course. Yeah, of course. I think we've all learned from the last experience. And in terms of the last experience, we were told about the holographic broadcast. When we were told that, was that again true to the time when we did the sessions?
Yes, it would have been, but it would not have been as holographic as you imagine, because it just, you would need to stop the Earth. Everything would need to stop in order for it to be holographic, because you could not have screens coming out of the sky near freeways or things like that. Otherwise, imagine the carnage.
Yes, I think that's probably made sense when they said they was going to start at 6 a.m. in the morning. I sort of thought, well, that's going to be less hectic potentially for some, but there was a lot of details given to us about that broadcast that made me have to think about the logistics of the possibilities of it. Of course, I still want the truth always to come out. Regardless of whether people get shocked. I know people can overcome shock and fear and overcome a lot of emotions. For me, I always want the truth.
Yes, but it would have needed to go through the emergency broadcast and also broadcast television, radio. Holographically would have worked possibly in a shopping centre situation, but certainly not in an outside space.
Okay, yeah. Thank you very much. And in terms of, it seems like we have some predominant female influences in politics and other industries that were born male, and we were just discussing people like that. Can we understand, is there any other purpose or reason why they are not disclosing that they are they were born one gender and now another, identify with another?
All part of their plan to create these people or persona without mentioning any names. It was far easier for people to suddenly believe that somebody was just incredibly so nice, that beyond being so nice. If that person was of a different gender, that would not have occurred.
Wow.
So it's all part of the dark show that they've managed to construct.
I see. Okay. Because I was sort of wondering whether they sort of were still not wanting to be judged for their gender identification versus some other agenda. So thank you.
Well, they would be judged, and they plus their controllers are totally aware of that. It was played out the way they wanted it to play out. This was always the way that it was, that they wanted it to be, and they've created these characters, is probably the best way to put it, because they're not true people. I mean, they're playing a role.
Yeah, I get that, not true people. So yeah, okay, so that's
Well, the prime example is like Mrs. Doubtfire.
Well, you know, we still love Robin Williams, but we understand he's an actor. Yes, but we get that. We get the analogy. I love that. Thank you so much. And in terms of the other president that we were speaking about, wondering if he was gay. Of course, we don't judge here. We love all. But is that true? Is that what we've heard in sessions? Is that true that he?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And is it true what he has been claimed to have done to children?
Yes.
Ugh. Okay. I don't.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Dennis is a neighbour who organised a Facebook event. Now we want to send her profound love and healing, and send her family profound love and healing, releasing any of the stigma or worry or concern that they had experienced. And if we can we send a little shake up, or I almost want to say a slap, but I don't. I want to be able to send something to the people who gave them hate and judged them for what they had done. I really want them to sort of awaken up. So can I misuse this power with love to help that situation? Because I'm still not comfortable with people treating people like that.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Was it a life contract that she had chosen to experience that?
Yes, she's not aware of it, but yes, she did sign up for that. Many people have thought that it was a set up situation, but it was not a set up situation.
I think we'd hope that it was a set up situation, so that poor person in her dressing gown actually wasn't harassed and traumatized as we would assume one would be in that situation. So I think our conscious minds want to make it fake because we can't even comprehend what that poor woman and her family and friends would have had to go through.
Yes, yes, and given that if it was a staged event, and there have been quite a few, if it was a staged event, nobody that signed up for that would be really expecting a whole lot of hatred to come from other members of the community. So if it was a staged event, which it wasn't, but if it was, then that there would have been a lesson for them in that.
Yes, absolutely. So, higher self, what can we do to help those people who felt so scared, felt so worried, and had to go out of their way to send death threats and hate to someone who obviously isn't malice at all, just did something that she believed in?
The best is what you suggested, is just to surround them in love and hope that they do wake up to what they've sent. Some people may by now have sort of thought maybe that was a bit harsh. Yes, it's just one of those strange situations where people were hysterical very quickly over a story that was just promoted like on television, well, right around the world.
Yeah.
And it just polarized people, as which of course was part of the overall plan too, is to keep people divided, which it did.
Yeah. I just want to marinate that mother, that family, and all the friends, and the community, with love, just profound love, and healing from that. So thank you so much for all of that. Subconscious or higher self, sorry. We were shown in some other sessions that Melbourne town centre, the city, was actually going to be in a heavy flood that was going to almost nearly wipe out the city. What can you tell me about that?
Yes, it had something to do with when they were cleaning and clearing the tunnels under Melbourne, because there was quite an exercise going on with that, and there were explosives that had been set up in different areas, and that would have created, because Melbourne being on a bay, that would have, and where the tunnels are running, that would have created like flooding from the bay running in and around and under Melbourne, as opposed to over the top of Melbourne.
Yes. Yeah, incredible. And so obviously that was protected and sorted out.
Yes, yes.
Who protected and sorted that out?
It was during the period when the Alliance were in Melbourne, and they were doing the work with the tunnels. It was discovered ahead of time, that was one of the situations that was going to occur, and it was decommissioned.
How did they discover it?
Intelligence.
Huh. And who had placed those bombs, whatever they were? Who had placed them there?
The dark agenda people.
What were they trying to protect?
Their assets.
What are their assets?
Well, the tunnels were where they were containing all the trafficking and the children.
Gruesome. Okay, thank you so much for that information. And then how is the body scan going for him?
It's good. It's good.
Perfect. Can we do a little spruce over for Benji as well? I'm trusting that Benji gets a lot of energy. Oh, bless him, sweetness. And higher self, can you please help me with one question that I have? Why is it that I have this feeling every time I want to say Dennis's name, I want to say Colin?
No idea. No idea.
He hasn't had a past lifetime where it has been Colin?
No, but mostly you may have met somebody similar energy that was a Colin.
Okay.
Because quite often we leave energetic prints with people, not on purpose, but that we do, and you may remember that energy from a different time. It's a bit like when you do meet somebody and you click with them very quickly. Normally that's, you've been with them before, but there's an energetic footprint that's still deep inside, because we do carry a lot of this with us.
Yeah, really interesting. Obviously I don't know Colin this lifetime at all. So, but it was just, feel like I pause and I don't say it, but I heard myself actually say it this time in the session, and I thought, I know his blinking name. Why am I getting that out before? And anyway, sorry, obviously my issue, but I just thought that'd be really interesting to ask since I
Well, it's not an issue. It's just that memory print is still there.
yeah, interesting. Okay, thank you so much. Is there any final messages that you have for Dennis today?
Just to continue, because the time's drawing down now to the 21st. It's a fortnight away.
Is there any recommendations or suggestions that you'd like to give him?
No, just to continue. He's pretty much going and doing what he knows that he's doing. He's not worrying about overly tidying up the house and getting everything in line like he was concerned about. He's been able to let that go well and truly, because it doesn't matter in the scheme of everything at all. It doesn't matter. So yeah, he's just sort of, plodding along. Only occasionally sort of just wondering, about some other people, but he's also aware that he can't do anything for people other than, help them if they do choose to wake up, and if they don't, well, you just got to let them go.
And he understands that people who seem to be not awoken still will shift.
Yes.
That's good. That's good. And yes, I'm pleased to hear that he's not planning to clean and box his entire house in preparation for this shift. So he's not an inconvenience. His property isn't an inconvenience for people being left behind, because I sort of thought, oh, that's such a. I'm not a big person to do that myself. So I'm pleased that he's using this time for him and Benji and enjoying what they can do here now.
Yes. It was more his probably star sign coming through of being a Virgo and wanting to tidy up all the boxes and having everything in line. But yeah, that's now gone. It's sort of like it's not important.
Okay, well, fully respected him for being so organized. I'm certainly not by any stretch of the imagination a Virgo, so love to know that for him. So I'm pleased. I'm very, very, very pleased. Is there any final messages at all that you want to share before we finish?
No, only for just to keep, for anybody to just keep going inwards, and just being aware, very much aware of your thoughts at this time too, to try and keep, and I won't say positive because that puts an expectation, but to keep them high and to keep your vibration and frequency as high as you can manage. And however you can manage it is fine.
Nice. And in terms of when Dennis sees the people with the masks, how's the best way for him to not be bothered by those people?
He's not overly bothered. He just thinks it's just crazy, absolutely crazy. But anyway, it'll be implanted in there that they're just the backdrop people, so let them be.
And can we laugh at the backdrop people? Will they get like hurt by that or not so much?
No. They're just there in the backdrop. So yeah, it's probably best to just look at them and smile and just keep walking and think, oh well, that's their role. They're the backdrop people.
Yeah, they're living for it, aren't they? This is a really exciting.
Yeah, yeah.
They love their roles. So thank you so much. Love talking to you once again. So we will now recede.